Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast, a brand new episode this week. Where, as you can see by the title, it's been a weird week since we were last speaking. I mean, Champions League group was drawn. We were all sort of up in arms at what could happen, excited about the possibility of the fixtures coming around, and then since then it's just been sort of disaster after disaster for the ticketing prices for that, for no activity on deadline day, no more new signings were brought in with that money, and then the Old Firm game, which is we're going to talk about first, on Saturday, just another absolute mauling we got off Celtic, which it just sort of adds on to the woes this season so far. It's been a weird start to the season because obviously we got Champions League qualification, but I still know there's just been some sort of missing, lacking. And it looks to be in terms of the department of the squad, it's not good enough. And we're all expecting more players to come in. But that's going to be the main discussion. We'll talk about the Ajax game, obviously, because that's coming up as well. But still struggling to really get up and excited about it. But we'll talk about it. And as always, you could like, subscribe, share for us. It's always appreciated. So first of all, into the Old Firm game. Obviously, as I was saying before then, hopefully we'd have went in this game with some new players, but the board didn't really want to spend any of that money, which I think lies to the problems that everybody sort of has at the moment. No investment in the squad. The squad looks really, really stale. No decent options. I mean, you've got Ryan Kent in the image there, who was poor for the majority of the game, like everybody on Saturday, but he's literally the only attacking threat we would have had or posed towards Celtic, because everybody else is just not good enough. And Celtic dispatched and dealt with us pretty easily, to be honest with you. And it just shows that the squad is in dire need of investment, and you thought that was going to be coming after the Champions League money, and the fact that it hasn't is just shameful.
It's disgusting, mate. It's absolutely disgusting. The amount of money that we've made, as you said, for the Champions League, not only the Champions League, but the run we had last season towards the end of it, and Europe as well, selling a fantastic player in Calvin Bassey and letting go Joe Aribo as well. So there is clear money there, but Stuart Robson and the boys want to fatten their pockets up. It's clear to see that. I mean, the pricing for the Champions League in a time period where some people are struggling to pay their bills is disgusting for me. But no, I mean, overall, back to the game here, sorry, but it was just, I mean, that was dug and bone, mate. That was an awful performance. It felt more like, but I was back in 2016. Really did. Do you know what I mean? Couldn't cope with them. Couldn't live with them. They were all over us. They couldn't do anything, and there was no options for the bench, as you said. Obviously, all week you've been saying to us about how strong Celtic's bench looks and the options they have, and you've seen that straight away for when Kyogo went down. Giakoumakis comes on, a quality player, a really top player. It's just the same as I said, mate. Some people don't want to spend the money because the money is there. The fans, we've been calling out for it. We want signings. Everyone wanted the Brazilian boy. I personally really wanted to sign that boy that went to Club Brugge, the boy for Denmark. I really like to look at him, but I really thought we were going to make some signings as well.
It's not even the fact that we like just because we've got money we need to make them. Like, it's so clear that we need players.
Aye, we desperately need players because you can't keep just relying on Ryan Kent to turn up in this game and do you know what I mean? You need to play as a team, as a unit. What Celtic did, they played as a team, as a unit. They came out, they pressed very well. So as I say, mate, you need to make big statement signs as well. For me, we qualified for the Champions League. Make those kind of signings that let people know, no, we're here to compete at this level.
We qualified for the Champions League and we're going in with a team that's weaker than our Europa League team last season. Like, that's just how are you meant to be able to do anything like
that? Can I just talk about the goalkeeping situation as well? Because John McLaughlin, he's been shocking ever since he's been number one. Let's be honest, he's been shocking. Maybe he can't cope with the pressure of being Rangers. He's number one. I think he's a great number two. He's a decent goalkeeper on his day, but mate, put the gloves to the side after that game. That was diabolical. And listen, there's a young man sitting there. I know everyone's going on about the legend, and obviously Al McGregor and what have you, but there's a young man sitting there who had a clean sheet against Celtic last time at Ibrox. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? He stepped in at probably our most important moment. You think about it, last season. with the European game, obviously, and then the Old Firm as well. You can maybe give him a shout. But I said all along before going into this, the board they have to have known that they had to sign a goalkeeper. You couldn't just hold your hopes up on Alan McGregor and whether he's going to sign that contract or not.
I genuinely don't think we have a scouting department or a
No, that's
team
what
that
you
actually
look
look at anything, to be honest with you, because how are we still going into a season where Al McGregor and John McLaughlin are your two goalkeepers? Robbie McCrory never really had a look in after that, and I don't see why, because none of the two goalkeepers ahead of him are even any better anymore. And it's annoying that why we even need to have the debate of playing a third choice goalkeeper. Like, we should have went out and signed a goalkeeper long term that's going to be your number one to stop these issues happening. You need to have somebody that's going to be comfortable in that position. And we've not got that comfort at the moment. Obviously, John McLaughlin's came in. He's done all right at times, but you can see he's far and away nowhere near to be a Rangers number one, in that performance showed it the other day. Really poor mistakes, poor goalkeeping. And that is one of the main areas, one of the main unsettled areas of the team.
It had to be strengthened in the summer, and it still amazes me that it wasn't. Overall, I'll be shocked if we win it this season. I really will be. I'll be shocked if we do it in this season.
Well, we're really going to need to buck up our ideas, because this is the team we've got now. Like, obviously, we had our grievances last week, but this is what we have to. This is a team for the at least January now. Like, these players need to pull out their arse and get their act together as well, because the players on the pitch that actually played this game, come on to fuck, man. Like, what was that? Like, you spoke on John McLaughlin there. Tavernier is your captain, arguing with Connor Goldson over a throw-in and all that.
Aye. Listen, give me 5 minutes on these two. Honestly, it's the same all the time with him. I love Tavernier. I love him. Everyone loves him. But seeing this, honestly, when it goes to Celtic Park, it's the same all the time. Goldson, I've had enough of him. I'm looking at it, man. I'm like, how can you be that size and be such a Jesse? Do you know what I mean? I'm going to keep my words PG for the audience out there. But honestly, how can you be that size and have that, you know what I mean? And just be like, oh, he's jumping up for the header, the one you were on about with Jackie Marcus today.
No.
You know what I mean? How can you be like that? Honestly, my boy Sands has been carrying him. He wasn't any better, what have you, but
I thought he was better than Goldson, to be honest with you. But
not one of them had a decent game. But you know what I mean?
No, not
I
at all.
thought Barisic whipped in some balls. Listen, I'm his biggest critic, as I say all the time on the podcast, but I thought he was decent. Lundstrom, listen, brother, let's drop the hard man act a wee bit. All right, let's just play football. Let's work on doing football there. That'd be nice. Davis, I thought the pace of the game, Davis couldn't cope with it. I thought he was really out of it. Tillman's, I think he was just...
Again, I don't think he could really cope with the pace.
Aye. Kamara, for me, was really the only one going forward that was really trying. Cholak, he didn't really do anything. He didn't really get any service, did he really?
Nah. And then Ryan Kent out on the left-hand side
I'm
also.
not even care anymore. Ryan Kent doesn't look like he cares, so why should we care about him?
Just again, in aid to the recruitment, we've relied on this guy and we've kept him at the club for as long as we have, because we spent that much money on him, and at the time he took us to that next level. We needed a big statement to come out, and it took us up to that next level. When he's obviously a good player in his day, but you're not seeing it enough anymore around about the team. Is there anybody, again, right wing's not been sorted, in the middle of the park, no Lawrence, we're still relying on Stephen Davis to play there. Tillman had a really poor game. There's just nobody quality in the middle of the park. I think that's a really, really poor area, especially defence as well. Signing John Suter and Ben Davies, and they're both injured. Like, do we have any luck in terms of signing players? Like, it just seems like all the time we just sign injury-prone players. Do we look at anybody's history and injuries? Do we actually fucking scout MD again? Think about it. Like, what do we do? All the players that we've seen linked to, and we've even seen ourselves that we should be in for. I honestly do not know what they do up there in that board. They just sit and count the cash, I think, and that's it. That's
what it feels like anyway, mate. But I think about that video, was it with Tavernier? And he says he was like, oh, I'm constantly on Ross Wilson about players and all that. Well, are you sure you? Because honestly, I've had enough. How do you pay $5 million for a left back and he doesn't start the game? How do you pay $4 million for a defender and he's nowhere near the team? I get he might be injured and all that, but come on.
Like, I don't get the Ben Davies thing, because he came in obviously to be Goldson's number one partner.
Aye.
Suter obviously had issues with his brother and all that, which is fair enough.
Respectable, and it take as long as you need. Do you know what I mean?
Like, that's fair enough, but it just seems like they still have, in terms of injuries and stuff. Obviously, I think he actually is injured now, Suter, as well as all of that happening. So we just don't
you
have
knew that
any
was
luck
going to
now.
happen when you signed him, but that's what I'm on about as well.
No.
You knew John Suter was going to get injured when he signed him, so you couldn't rely on him to be Connor Goldson's number one partner there.
And then Kemar Roof, we've not saw since the Europa League final. We've had an update for Gio like the other day saying, and then the next couple of weeks he'll be joining up with the team. Haji obviously still the same, looking like New Year time. But the squad looks really weak, and with all of these players that you knew were going to be out, and we still didn't go and invest in the squad and make it any better, which is I don't see me anyway as a fan, and you, everybody that I've talked to as a Rangers fan is not happy with the way the club's been run.
Well, I mean,
everybody has the same issues, really.
I mean, we've been saying that since we started the podcast, Jack. Like, I mean, the right wing position hasn't been filled since Daniel Candeias left.
Mm-hmm.
And it's somebody like Tillman's playing out there for me. Tillman should be in the centre. Tillman should be the guy looking to create and link up with people. Do you know what I mean? Just having him out there for me is not. As I said, he had started Scott Wright. Really had no complaints with starting Scott Wright whatsoever. But no, I mean, it's just you look at that team, man. It's that is what it is, mate. As I say, you got to give credit to Celtic as well, though.
Aye, of course.
They were
like
fantastic on
Celtic
the day.
absolutely fucking destroyed us. Like it was that point as well. I was expecting to get hammered. I wasn't confident going into this game at all, especially at Celtic Park. First game of the season, Celtic riding on a high wave of form at the moment, and they really did just punish us for silly mistakes as well, but also need to put the ball in the back of the net. And every time they go forward, they looked like they were going to do it.
It's just embarrassing, mate. As I say, that felt like Graham Murray kind of old for him. Do you know what I mean, Marlowe? But that was just embarrassing. That was, mate. Absolutely embarrassing. And like a lot of the players need to look at themselves. Do you know what I mean? Connor Goldson constantly shouting at people. I'd love to play with him because I'd give him it back. I'd tell him, shut your mouth, big man. Honestly, Sands isn't that kind of guy. I know he wouldn't be that kind of guy, but I'd tell him, I just shut your hole. You know what I mean? You gave me a stick for it. You're just causing most of the problems anyway.
No,
I've had enough with a guy like his size, as I say, mate. He shouldn't be like that at all, man. He is a Jesse for me. He is a wuss. Honestly, I'm no. It's what it is, man. He does my head in all the time, but because 1 minute you'll be, as I say, you'll be feeling the way you're about him right now, and then next minute, he was great. He was great against Partick Thistle at home. Do you know what I mean? But in games like this is when it really matters. As I say, I go back to that final and all he had to do was put his leg out. That's all he had to do. Do you know what I mean? But you can't, as I say, mate, you can't keep relying on players like Kent as well. Do you know what I mean? This is the summer for me, as I said to you, where you had to go and make signings that relieve the pressure off him as well. For me, Kent should be scoring a lot more than what he does. Do you know what I mean? He assists, obviously, but he needs to put the ball in the net for me as well sometimes. Cholak, I mean, some of the players I say, Tillman, Cholak, Sands, and what have you, I mean, this is their first time really proper experience in an Old Firm game. So I'm not going to be too harsh on them, as I say. Well, obviously, I will be harsh on them, but you know what I mean? Like they're still
improving as we speak. Like,
and can we just touch on it? I know some Rangers fans were upset with Sands and Tillman sitting there with Carter Vickers, with the US manager. Do you know what I mean? And we just get a grip ourselves. Do you know what I mean? It's for the national team. Obviously, I understand. Do you know what I mean? It's El for him. What he's doing, he shouldn't be anywhere near. But as I say, mate,
we knew like months ago they were going to be getting watched by the team. Just so happens they went out and they were having a discussion.
Most of these lads, as I say, Sands, Tillmans, Kamara, Finland are in the World Cup. I don't know what I'm talking about there, but you know what I mean. Like most of these lads are thinking about their international football as well, with the World Cup coming up. So
it's just a pure non-issue. It'd be different if it was just the three of them sitting there. We no coach. That'd be different. Like what you're doing, but they're sitting there with the coach talking about the game because there was three of them and he was watching the game against them. I don't see any problem with that. It's a pure non-issue. Hiding over the fact that we were absolutely fucking diabolical in the game. Like things need to improve on the pitch. I don't know how they're going to improve. Gio is that guy to go and lift them again for Wednesday. I hope so. I hope he can implement the tactics that are right and get these players up for it.
Can we talk about Gio?
We can talk about Gio. We can because again at Celtic Park he got it wrong. He got it wrong. He probably play a midfield like he did. Really no ambition going forward. It looked like we were sitting in and trying to play as we do in Europe, which of course can work. But playing against a team like Celtic, I just don't think you can set up like that. You need to go match them, and we didn't at all in the middle of the park, anywhere actually on the park. And I think he could have made the change. He bringing Morelos on at half time, react, and go positive with the change. Because who did they take off Kamara for? Was it Scott Wright he brought on?
Scott Wright, aye.
I just don't think that was the right change to make at the time. I would have
That
brought
was
Scott
it.
Wright on eventually, but I would have brought Morelos on, I think.
Aye. Well, as I say, you look at that interview everyone's been sharing as well, the one after the Champions League, where he was talking about, oh, your club's got finances to go and boost the squad, and then he suddenly he's like, no, we're happy with the team. You can't be happy with bringing Scott Arfield on. Nobody can. See, if it's, as I say, games like Livingston and all that, I can understand that. But no like this. No anymore. I've had enough of it, as I say. For me, as I say, this manager is fantastic. He took us to a Europa League final. Do you know what I mean? Some of these players, do you know what I mean? Some of these players were playing League One and whatever. Do you know what I mean? Giovanni took me to a Europa League final, and we were that close, as I say. But yeah, again, he did get it wrong probably. As I say, I'd have started Scott Wright and probably had Tillman's where Kamara was and whatever. But I'm not going to. I know I've seen a lot of people saying get rid of him and whatever and all that. But I would never get rid of Giovanni. As I say, Europa League final and into the Champions League, he's done it. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know, mate. I'm all over the place, as I say. I think most people are, but I wouldn't get rid of the manager yet again. Another manager's been let down by the board. No one to.
It's just the same thing that's happened to Gerrard. To be honest with you, like he's done really well in terms of getting positive finances and moments for the club and all that, and then you need more after that. Like you can't just sit with the same weaker team than he had when he came in and expect to do anything, mate. Like you need new players to come in also and improve the group in terms of morale and players fighting for positions. Because you look at Tavernier, obviously he's going to play every game untested. Goulson unchallenged for his position. Lundstrom also unchallenged. Kent, I mean, he's going to play every game. Like there's no competition. It's like, I'm going to play anyway.
There's not at all, and that's what I'm on about, that hunger, that desire to be like, no, I need to be on the first team. As I say, these guys know they're making the dough and they're first team players, do you know what I mean?
But you can't go as a Rangers manager or as a Rangers team a Celtic Park and continue to get absolutely fucking pummeled. Like, it just can't happen. Like no matter if it was Gio or anybody, like there's that. That's a warning sign for me going there. Absolutely. But I just a lot of the blame for me goes on the players for not implementing the ideas, and you've seen it with Gio on the touchline going mental. Ryan Kent for that second goal. He said we were ready in the press conference before the game. Like surely I would love to actually believe that they've looked at Celtic and the way they play, and obviously we're expecting that, but we just weren't switched on at all. And Gio, as you saw in that video, was particularly raging about it.
No, he was, but just couple of things for myself, as I say, mate. I would, as you said, brought Morelos on at half time, but I didn't like the fact that he brought him on when it was clearly done. It was buried. That was something I knew. I thought he brings him on. These Celtic fans are going to love it. They're going to love it. They're going to start you know what I mean. I thought he could maybe tried to change things, I say, but.
The game was too far away for you.
The game was done, man. The game was done. But what is he supposed to do with players that aren't really asked, really? Do you know what I mean? They're not really caring, are they? Let's be honest.
I would have loved to have known what was said and what happened in that dressing room at half time. What was your captain saying? What was the senior players of the team saying? Like what was actually happening in there? Because
they've been arguing each other, throwing handbags about. That's what Tavernier and Goulson. That's all the two of them do. I've had enough of it.
Because me as a fan watching that, I'm like, well, it's just the exact same thing that happened in February. There's no way we're going to come back, and we didn't again. Like we actually got a heavier defeat this time. Like what, as you say, it's players that can't be asked, and you've got a manager there that surely is trying to get them up for it. And players, you just don't. I don't know, man.
That's all I'm asking for is effort.
You need to go there and be blown out your arse when you go to Celtic Park, man.
Aye, you need to. Do you know what I mean? And I would hope, as I said, I would hope Giovanni was in there as Alex Ferguson after the game. Pick that boot up and launch it at one of them. Because I know I would have. I'd have picked up and launched it right off Conor Gouldsen's head. But no, I just, as I say, mate, you can't. I'm now dreading, as I say, going to Celtic Park again. And I think you've obviously got to give a bit of credit there as well. Do you know what I mean? That's a manager who people were laughing at. Let's be honest, we were all laughing at Ange at first when he first came in and was like, this guy won't last long. But as I said, the board have backed him. His board have backed him, and look at the squad he's assembled together. I've got to shout out. I honestly think that Abada is a fantastic footballer. I really rate that young lad.
It's annoying to say that, obviously, because
I
it's still
know
Celtic.
it really is. It's annoying to say
but
Celtic have good players. Do you know what I mean?
they've
But
got a lot of quality in that side. Like,
aye.
I absolutely fucking ruined us the other day.
And that's what I'm on about. It's annoying because they did the simple things for me. They actually played for the jersey, and they played. There was effort there. That's all I'm asking for. Do you know what I mean? I'll be sitting in that stands for as long. Do you know what I mean? As long as the game goes on. But all I ask is you give me effort, and you give me that little something. Do you know what I mean? Especially like somebody like Ryan Kent. Do you know what I mean? I'm just
I can understand him going off and being disappointed at the result and all that, but I just
see with the Tillman's yellow card and all. That's another one I was thinking about myself as well. See, experienced players in this game now. You think about obviously Davis and Tavernier. Surely you got to be telling them, hey, don't be doing stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what the fans will want you to do that. And as soon as that happens, they're going to get on you. I don't know. It's just simple things like that for me, mate. I don't know. As I say, I'm really disappointed. Really hurt after this one.
It's just because although I wasn't expecting much. It's just the manner of the defeat. It's just looking at your players
I
again.
expected to compete, but that's what I'm on about. We didn't compete at all. We didn't turn up at all. I was expecting us to compete. I wasn't getting two ways saying, oh, we're going to win here or we're going to get hanged. I was just saying to myself, no, as long as we compete, and we didn't do that at all. We didn't do that a single bit at all. As I say, two people continuously still blaming each other at right hand side of the defence, as I've said. Two of them have been awful this season for me compared to that left-hand side of the defence for me so far.
As you say, like the left-hand side of the defence, Sands continuing to get better every game. Obviously, poor as everybody was on Saturday, but constantly improving. Barisic has actually looked all right, to be honest with you. Compared to his right-hand side, Tavernier, I know Tavernier always consistently tries to drive us forward and contributes and all that, but Barisic has done really well, I think, recently.
I think he has as well. But see, Sands is a confidence player. And how are you going to feel confident when you get that idiot next to you? You know what I mean? Make mistakes constantly. He ain't a leader. I'm telling you right now, he's a shirker. That's what he is, man. He ain't a leader.
Nah, and then another
I don't think he is anyway. See if he's going to turn around and blame you when he was
I think that's a big part of his character. I think it's just wrong.
So far this season for?
Well, when you think about it, like going back a
Champions
bit, League. The ones in the Champions League against PSV 100%. And then
all he needs to do is put his face in the way.
The Hibs equaliser as well. He's been really, really poor this season so far. And as you say, getting outperformed by that young man next to him, which is fair play to the guy. But it really annoys me how Goldson's position in the team, obviously at the moment, is undroppable because we literally have no other fit centre halves to play. But for the foreseeable future, see if he continues to go on like this form, there's no way he should be able to stay in this team. But one of the main issues that I have in general with the whole season so far, and that kind of started it in a negative way for me, is Arfield, Davis, McGregor all getting 1-year contracts. I think it's so lazy in terms of course they have benefits like keeping senior players around and with young players coming into the group, and that's what it is. But I'm looking at Lundstrom, Goldson, Tavernier. Are they not the new age players that have been here and have take on these young players through the ropes? So why do we need Stephen Davis there anymore? I know Davis was not the worst player in the park the other day, but the fact that we've got a 37-year-old midfielder playing 90 minutes in an Old Firm game is absolutely laughable. Like I'd laugh at my own team if that's what we've got. We've got McGregor in the bench. Obviously, he's not played at all really this season, but still having him around and not getting a new goalkeeper in was annoying for the start. And then Scott Arfield, don't get me started on Scott Arfield. Just an absolute, just not good enough. Like, he's not been good enough for about 2 years, and he's still there. I honestly think it's so lazy in terms of the recruitment. We could have got somebody proper in to play that Arfield role and get an attacking midfielder in that we're actually going to use. But no, we have to keep these players around for the experience, or they know the Old Firm. Where were they the other day then, if they know the Old Firm? That's just one of the main problems I've had for the start of the season. I just think it's so lazy for Ross Wilson and the recruitment, the department, that nobody even knows if it's even a thing, the recruitment department.
Well, I can understand. Obviously, I agree with what you're saying, but also would say as I say, like games that happened. What was it, last Tuesday, wasn't it? Cup game.
Aye.
You know what I mean? When you're playing the youngsters, that's when you can put them in there. But no, I agree with what you're saying. And listen, I was never a fan of McGregor getting a new deal. I was never a fan of Arfield getting a new deal. Davo, I love him. Obviously, I'm going to say I'll take Davis for another year. But when you're thinking on it, Jack, could have saved the bank, and you could have brought somebody in who was younger, who was on the rise, maybe. Who could
Well,
have
you
come
look
in
at
and,
Charlie McCann. Like, why can't Charlie McCann get his
no.
role? He's clearly at the level that
Mm,
integrate somebody young that's already there into the squad, like, and because they're only going to get better if they actually get through and play games. Like
mm.
Leon King's looked a really good addition to the ranks so far. Like,
No, I agree with you. But
he's done well, but I personally I just don't. I think we should have looked elsewhere and get more players in and
no,
steer clear of
listen,
all these guys.
I agree with it, mate. But what I'd say and all that I'm seeing as well, going about as well, people on about just throw the young lads in. I wouldn't throw the young lads in a run
It's
like this
just
that's coming up, man. It's
you
just unfair on
you just
them, and
get
you
the fans
can't.
like that. Like, it's never going to happen. Like why would you just play the young? Like, it's just stupid to even say
I
something
would
like that. You know what I mean?
definitely. There's for me definitely Charlie McCann used to be knocking on the door. He playing first team football. That guy
Aye, that's definitely
already
the
is a
guy. Yeah.
sensational ball. Look, that other game the other night was boring, man. It was utter boring until for me he came on and some of the balls he was playing through were just sensational. But as I say, mate, I think I'm in the same boat with you. I think it's lazy. It's just lazy to keep these guys around. You know what I mean? You can talk about maybe squad morale or whatever you or experience in big games like this. But as you said, where were they? Because they weren't there. They weren't on that part. Do you know what I mean? Well, obviously Davo was, but
Aye.
he wasn't.
I
He wasn't
just have a
quality
lot of
useless.
concerns for the very start of this season, and then how long it even took to get a signing in with Cholak. Like, do you remember how long we were actually
It took
waiting for
forever. It took donkeys, man.
anything to come out, and then we got that nice spree where we had signings and everyone was positive, and
Oh,
it was
oh,
looking at new players and stuff.
but it doesn't matter, Jack, because by the way, we've released a fourth kit. And
No,
I don't know about you, but I'm willing to stick 70 quid on this fourth kit. What a banger of a kit it is.
I know, just more
It's a
money
joke,
ripped out your
man.
bank account. I know,
It's
like
just a joke. I had enough of it.
I've had enough of just in Everton in general. We just it just can't be arsed with Rangers now, and it shouldn't be this way going into the Champions League. Like, it should be a really positive time for the club.
Optimistic.
Everybody should be looking
Absolutely.
forward and optimistic exactly about the teams that we're going to play, the nights that we're hopefully going to have. And at the moment, it seems like a never-ending negative spiral. Everything just going out of control, and Ibrox is really going to be a toxic place, I think, for the foreseeable due to that transfer window and due to the things that is happening. Like, fans aren't going to accept it.
I will. Sorry, mate, cut you off, but I'll be shocked if there's no protest for the Napoli game, just about how much money we've paid, the performances and what have you. I'd be shocked if there wasn't a banner, maybe, or what have you, just letting the board know. But as you say, mate,
I think
we should
it
be
will
looking
come.
forward
To be
to
honest
these.
with you, I think all the home games are going to have, and it's going to need to, we're going to need to chase them out. To be honest with you, it's up to us as fans to vent our frustrations. We're not happy, and things will need to happen. But in terms of the pitch, things are also going to need to happen. We need to improve by Wednesday because we're going to face this man again. The campaign gets underway, obviously, against Ajax and the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam, and very tough game to start off your Champions League campaign, but Champions League is tough games all the time. Like, you want to be at this level, you need to play, obviously, the big teams. Calvin Bassey probably facing us quicker than he thought he was going to, but Ajax starting off the season pretty much like they always do, winning games. So
sorry, hang me. I know we're going on to the Ajax game, but it was a great point I thought Ali McCoist made when he was on commentary. See, we're losing the likes of Calvin Bassey, Leon Balogun. We lost the physicality of the defence, the intimidation. I feel like, and to see my boy again, it's going to be a difficult game. Johan Cruyff Arena, a magical arena. I'll be honest, I'll be shocked if we get in for this game, but no one knows. We'll probably end up winning it because it's Champions League football in it. So you never know, man.
It's going to be a tough game, definitely. As you say, Bassey coming to face you again. I put together that's the team I think will play the game, and that's Ajax's last team that played in the league against Cambuur. Never heard of that team before, but you've got Timber, Bassey, Daley Blint. Obviously, I think is no, he's not the captain. It's Tadic, and you've got Alvarez, who was linked to a move to Chelsea in deadline day. You've got Davy Klaassen, obviously formerly of Everton. Stephen Berghuis, again, another decent player. Steven Bergwijn, I mean, 2 goals he's written up for Ajax so far this season. And they've also just signed Lucas Ocampos for Sevilla. So they're replacing Anthony and Martinez pretty well with the funds they've got into the club.
What's
And
that?
Ajax notorious for building a young side. So,
What's that? They're telling me Jack is a club investing in players, making signings, using youth and using exciting, talented players. I like that, and experience in there as well. I like the sound of that. Wish we did that, but no, it should be, as I say, it'll be a difficult game. It's a really strong team. They seem to be ripping it up this season, especially the boys signed for Spurs back in there. But I'll be honest, as I said to you, I think you could go in the Dutch league and probably get 15. MD looking to sign Jack. Look him up. He's a decent striker. He's injured now, but he's a decent striker. But no, mate, I'm just look forward to playing the game. Really, I shouldn't really have this kind of attitude, but it's hard when
it's so hard to really even get positive for anything to do with Rangers now. Looking at our side, I think we'll probably. I don't think G will drop McLaughlin. I don't think putting the faith into him to get us to the Champions League. I don't think he'll just drop him after obviously, which was a really poor performance. Tavernier Golson, as you say, the undroppables. Sands, I would like to see him playing in there again. I thought my personal preference is Yilmaz. I see no reason why we even sign this guy just to not play him in games. Like, you need to play the guy at some point. Why not? We can't just play him against Queen of the South and cup games and all that forever.
You need to 5 million for you. We'd have to get on the park. You're scared. Get on that park.
You need to integrate him into the side. Although Barisic has been decent so far, so it wouldn't surprise me. Lundstrom and Kamara worked really well against PSV in there, and I would probably think they two will play again. And then I think we're going to need to play in the counter attack. So Wright, Kent, out in the right and left hand side. Need to really buck up their ideas in terms of, well, Wright was all right when he came on the other night, but Kent really, really needs to buck up his ideas. Malik Tillman, again, really poor the other day, but I was kind of just repeating myself.
One criticism Tillman so far. Stop with the fancy tricks. You're not buying Munich anymore, bro. You need to finish it. You need to put the ball in the net. You know the ones where he's doing the back heel and you're like, mate, put the ball in the net. I don't need to see that.
Yeah, I think he just... He likes the slower type of game, so I mean, maybe this kind of game.
Because he's used to coming for a side where they dominate the ball. Coming for a pub league, let's be honest, the Bundesliga is a pub league. I think the French league's a better league than the Bundesliga. The same team wins it every year. It might be a big statement for some, but I generally do think it's a pub league. Do you know what I mean? There's some good talent out there. You
could say that about all the European leagues these days.
You could be, but the Italian league's back on the rise. French league seems a bit decent.
The Italian league really does seem the most competitive out of them all, to be honest with you.
I just think, do you know what I mean? He's coming for a team where they dominate the ball. They dominate most of their games.
It's the same we should be doing, though. We should be dominating all our games. Obviously, absolutely. In Europe, it's going to be different. We are the underdogs of this group. But in terms of the league and all that you can see the games that we dominate the ball in and we're on the front foot all the time as the games he does play well in, but he'll need to also, he's got the physicality and he's got the graft into his game. He just needs to add a bit more for me. And then the man up front, I think Alfredo Morelos, it's time to give him a start. I think Antonio Cholak has done really well. Wouldn't be surprised, but I just think Morelos is always just going to give you something more up front, and it'll cause Ajax definitely more problems, I feel, than Cholak will.
Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see him going up against Calvin. The both of them know each other's game inside out. So that'd be interesting. Cholak, you could argue, as you say, he's not put a foot wrong. Really drop him. But my guy right here, don't you ever disrespect him again. Do you understand me? This is the European top goal scorer. This is the man that brings smiles to our faces when we need it. Just don't disrespect him again. I'd play him. Listen, I would like to. I don't know.
I think it's difficult because you're going into Aberdeen at the weekend as well, and you would like a hard grafter up there. And I think Morelos will do you a better job than Cholak will. But
why can't we play the two of them up top together?
Gio said he won't do that.
I think you see that. I know it's me, but I'm sick of watching 4-3-3 and all this. What happened to the old school way? You know what I mean? 4-4-2. Not always joking, but I'd like to see maybe the two of them play together. I know Gio said he's not going to do that, but it's just a thought for me, mate.
No, it's a weird one because I've always liked when he changed that formation after the Celtic result last year, and this is kind of what we grew accustomed to here. But it's just I think that'll probably. I don't think he'll change much, to be honest with you. I think there'll maybe be a couple of changes in there. I would really like Morelos to start, but again, wouldn't be surprised if it was Cholak. I just think you're going to have more success with Morelos up front, personally. But it's going to be a tough game anyway. There's we're playing Ajax, of course, away from home. It's going to be tough, but we need to get back to winning ways and quick, because you can't ride on that negative wave. Although if we go out and win this game, I'm going to be over the moon by it. Like, of course, winning in the Champions League, I'll be buzzing. But things really do need to improve, and we need a win, I think, to get everything back to at least a positive light. Do you know what I mean? It's been really tough since we've really qualified in it. It's been never ending.
No, it has been. Listen, 3-1 the Rangers. I don't know, as I say, man, you're just devastated. You're gutted. You've lost to your biggest rivals, and obviously what's going on as well with not bringing the players in. The board seeming just being money hungry. I say get the Saudis in. Let's have the Saudis in. We'll sign Kylian Mbappe, Neymar. No, I'm only joking. But no, as I say, obviously you hope for a win. Champions League football finally back to win in the Champions League, as I say, in a real competitive game against Ajax. It's going to be good to see the boy Calvin play again. I know he's going to up the levels because he's playing against his old side. But hopefully it should be a good game. There's been a couple of good games in the Champions League coming up this week as well. Looking forward to the PSG Juventus game. It should be a good game. Sevilla v Man City. Also Real Madrid are in Glasgow. Karim, brother, I'm not the biggest fan of the club you play for, but if you could put the ball in the net 3 or 4 times, that'd be great.
It would be. But hopefully we can actually go and win this game and get a positive result for it anyway, and we can take that into the weekend's game in Aberdeen, which is probably going to be the harder game in terms of where we're looking at. If we're looking to go into that game and win, there's no questions about it. We cannot drop any more points in the league now, so that's probably the bigger game for us. But looking forward partially at the moment to the game coming up, but we'll see how it goes. But that's pretty much all I was wanting to talk about today anyway. I think I've got my frustrations out as much as I can.
I think my rant, my raves are over. I can get back to worshipping Greg Stewart. No, Joe.
I know. But let us know your thoughts on the squad, and probably the same thoughts as we all have anyway. And in the comments, comment below what's your current feeling about Rangers. Are you looking forward to the Ajax game? What needs to change? And I'll get back to you there. Then next week we'll be back with another podcast, hopefully discussing something more positive than a big defeat. But until then, we'll see you.